So yeah, before you attach the crystal holder to your moon, make sure you have dremeled the bottom piece of your crystal. If it has the part where a chain or rope goes through, you'll just want to dremel that off. And then after you dremel that off, you'll want to drill a hole into the jewel, just enough to get your magnet in there. And then super glue the magnet, and once again I use the Loctite 60-second glue, but be aware this glue takes far longer to cure than 60 seconds, especially if you're going to be using it to hold a decently strong magnet. And to connect the moon to the rod, I used Worbla to make a base. I believe I also used Superglue here to add extra security between the base, the moon, and the rod pieces. So don't forget to put the little balls on the side of her rod. This can help you prop the moon up. So for the star on Usagi's Moonstick, I once again used resin. I had a silicone mold from eBay that had the perfect star in it on hand already. I will check to see if that's still available, and if it is, I'll link it down below. So once this piece had cured to touch, but it was still pretty soft and flexible at this stage, I placed it into position on the Moonstick and wrapped painter's tape around it very tightly to make sure it finished curing with the curve to make it fit the rod correctly. I hope this makes sense. So after I let that sit for a while, I think I let it sit for about 48 hours. You could probably go with 24 hours too, but basically you just want to make sure it's finished curing and that it's cured to fit the PVC pipe properly. So since it was still flexible when I got it out of the mold that I originally poured the resin in, I placed it onto the PVC pipe and had it shaped to it, and then placed the painter's tape around it, and then just let it sit. So after it was cured the way I wanted it to, I super glued it into place after marking where it would sit so I knew where to glue it. It helped to look at the bottom circle and the part above to place this correctly. So you can also make the star from hot glue using your silicone mold like resin or Worbla if you prefer. But and make sure you have the magnets on the correct sides as well so they magnetize correctly too. Just find this by testing which side it has the stronger bond with. I just let them attach and I figured out how to place them from there. I hope I explained that decently. I don't know the science of magnets well enough to explain, but the magnets I used were very finicky about this, positive, negative, and all that. So when putting your magnet in, you can use a toothpick to help move it around to place how you want it so you don't get that stuff on your hands. That's something that I really hate. I hate getting super glue on my hands. I don't like the texture of that, and it just feels wrong. So, but that's just a personal thing. Anyways, the hole I previously drilled into the moon did help me place this piece though. I also shoved a little Worbla down into the hole as well. That's not really necessary though. And once again, I carefully used super glue to add extra strength to the bond between the Worbla and resin. It does stick pretty well without it too, but it just felt better having that extra safety net there, so it just gave me an extra peace of mind that it'll stay put. And also, I originally dremeled a hole into my moon where one of the magnets would go, but I realized this would work a lot better just sandwiching it between Worbla. So I made the base for where the silver crystal sits with Worbla, and I used the crystal to help me size it properly. And then back to the magnet, I had it sandwiched between Worbla and then stuck the Worbla to the bottom of the base of the crystal piece. And this is important. Make sure your magnet is visible, but still between the Worbla enough that it won't come out. You might have to work with this a little. I use gesso, and you can dilute this with water to avoid streakiness in the paint and everything. I use this to help smooth the Worbla, and then, but then, like, this is a personal preference again, like, this is totally up to you. I personally prefer to keep a little bit of the Worbla texture because I just feel like it looks kind of nice, but that's a personal preference, and I know that'll differ from person to person. So you do what you want to do, but it determines how many layers of gesso you'll need. So on to the best part, painting. Now I would highly recommend exercising patience in this process. Back to where I was saying it would take me forever to get stuff done. Well, just getting everything perfect, like, it's unrealistic to get things perfect, so don't stress too much over it. I stressed over that a lot in this process until I just let go, like, you know what, it's not going to be perfect, just get it to the best that you can. And yeah, so I had a lot of issues during the painting process, and a lot of it was due to impatience, so please exercise patience in this process, because I kept needing to redo things because I wasn't being patient. And allow your paint to dry and cure completely before moving on to different sections to avoid indents and annoying little imperfections. But still, don't stress on getting it perfect or you'll be there for 100 years stressing out over it, so just do your best. It'll look great no matter what you do. So painter's tape will be your best friend here, and you'll want to cover all the jewels you have superglued in the areas that will not get covered with the current color for the section you're working on. So gold moon, pink base, for example. I carefully went in with a knife and tweezers to cut away the painter's tape to fit the jewel correctly to ensure it didn't get any paint on it. gold and the pink were Rust Oleum paint plus primers. But be careful when using metallic paints though, because these things are jerks. Just little jerks. And they're very difficult to work with sometimes. So spray in layers and just be patient. It will pay off, I promise you. So at some point I relocated here because I didn't want to At some point I relocated here because there was a mouse sitting on my project area. I didn't get it on film, but it was on top of my dad's toolbox, which is pretty tall, so I'm not sure exactly how it got there. But I didn't want to kill it with paint fumes, and I didn't want it using my prop as the facility for its private business, so I relocated. So anyways, continuing, once you finish, do your touch-ups. I got a bit annoyed here as well with the pink spray paint. I ended up using a pink bottled acrylic to do the final layers. But patience with the spray paint will ensure you'll have a better time. So after this, glue your little jewels onto your big jewel after removing the painter's tape. The red is on the top, the green is on the right, and the yellow is on the left. And tweezers are wonderful here. They are just great to help you place these. So after this is done, the next step is to apply your shiny clear coat to seal everything up beautifully and to get that gorgeous shine. So when you do this, if you Sharpied your colors onto the gems like me, be aware the color might come off. This isn't a problem, just reapply the Sharpie color and you are good to go. So last step, and most importantly, be a moon princess, fight for love and justice, and in the name of the moon, punish your enemies. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me in the comments or send me a message. I'll be more than happy to help you. So take care, dear viewer.